What's up? You're watching the Wildcaster postgame. I'm Alec alongside Justin Spears, and we had Arizona-ASU round one in McHale today. Arizona won
Yeah.
67-56, but I think the bigger point is Tommy-Lloyd might have a crystal ball somewhere in his office, because we talked to him yesterday and he's like, this is going to be a tough game. This is going to be could be an ugly game, and that's exactly what happened. Arizona comes out shooting 2 of 15 from the field. It felt like we were continuing the UCLA game, and then they slowly snap out of the streak. Kirk Kriisa hits a 3 in the second half. The offense gets some rhythm, and ultimately Wildcats cruise to an 11-point victory.
Yeah.
Do you put a lot of stock into what happened today, Justin?
Not really. And the difference between this game and the UCLA game was a quality of opponent. UCLA is a top 10 team. They went to a Final Four a year ago. ASU, on the other hand, they were 6-11 coming into this game with some very bad losses on their resume, and they lost 5 out of the last 6 games. So ASU is a far inferior team than a team like UCLA. Like I said, all the things. They went to a Final Four. They're a great team. Arizona shot 32% from the field. They shot 31% against UCLA. You can't do that in the month of March. You can't do that in the NCAA tournament, and they're going to get it figured out. You know, Kirk Kriisa has really been struggling. You know, he was 0 for 12 against UCLA, finished 2 for 8 today. So you think about it, 2 for 20 over the last couple of games. For a guy that's got Kerr on the back of his jersey, that's not a good sign for Arizona. But Arizona went to the free throw line. They were aggressive. They utilized their bigs. Christian Koloko had 12 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks. So fantastic performance for him. Umar Ballo, over the last month, has been my favorite storyline for this Arizona team. So there are some positive storylines. There are some positive signs for Arizona, but man, they have a lot of things to work on before they get ready for March.
Yeah, and Tommy-Lloyd was asked, like, what's the plan between now and UCLA? Because there's a lot to work on. He said the first thing is rest. He said the team's a little tired. They're a little banged up. Tubelis, he played today, played 22 minutes, but still you could tell he's not at 100%. Kirk Kriisa still got the wrap around his wrist from the injury. Maybe that's affecting what we see in his shooting. And then 3 games on the road. Then you come back here. It's just a lot of travel. Now they get to be here in Tucson for the next week. They play UCLA at home Thursday and USC Saturday. But some things I'd like to see cleaned up is 3-point shooting. That was really the issue. And it's not like they're taking bad shots. Some of them are maybe some forced shots, but a lot of these are just open looks that things aren't falling, and it seems to be a little contagious where one guy starts to miss and then everybody else is missing.
100%. You know, in Kirk Kriisa, I give him a lot of credit. You know, he's not taking any bad shots, like you said. I mean, you look at all the shots that he is taking, it's usually pump fake, getting a defender to miss, taking a step over, and then putting up the shot. So he's always getting a clean look, but it just feels like there's lids on rims right now. It just seems like there's just the shots just simply are not falling. But you know what? Like that's gonna change, right? Shooters shoot. You got Pelle Larsson, who was one of the top 3-point shooters in the Pac-12 a year ago. You know, Arizona added him, and while his 3-point numbers aren't what they were at Utah, that's still a valuable 3-point shooter coming off your bench. And Kirk Kriisa, I mean, eventually he's going to get out of this rut, and then he's going to find that swaggy confidence that we've seen throughout the season. So, 3-point shooting is going to get cleaned up. But you know what? The one thing about this Arizona team, and that's the reason why they're ranked number 3 in the country, is that
all these things can go wrong.
All these things can go wrong, and yet they can still win a basketball game.
Still win by double.
They can flip a switch, right? There's not one single identity with this Arizona team. If the shots aren't falling, what do? All right, Christian Koloko, Umar, Azulis, Ben, you get to the rim. You attack the rim, and when you do that, you get to the free throw line, and that's how you're going to generate your points. And Arizona's doing that. So while 3-point shooting is an issue, Arizona is still winning based off a lot of other good things that they can do.
Now, ASU came out, they were pretty aggressive the entire game. They didn't back down. It looked like multiple points in the second half. Arizona got a 4-point lead, then a 5-point lead, then a 6-point lead, and then ASU would make it, cut it down to 2, cut it down to 3. They didn't go away, and so, credit to ASU for challenging Arizona. But I think Arizona needed that pushback where you can't just cruise by. Like you said, they can flip a switch, but they couldn't do that against UCLA. They did it a little bit against ASU, but they got some pushback, which I think helped them refocus a little bit.
Well, the jig is up. everyone knows that Arizona's good. So whatever opponent you're going to face, you're going to get their best shot, and that means a 6-11 ASU team. I give credit to the Sun Devils. They came in, even though Arizona was struggling. I mean, ASU really took it to Arizona in the early goings. But then, Arizona was able to, find some things that worked, like getting inside, finding Christian Coloco and Umar Ballo, and you saw the size of Arizona really show. And, they're one of the tallest teams in the country for a reason. And, when things get tough, shooting-wise, utilize those bigs, and it doesn't matter what ASU is going to throw at them. If you have solid front court play, you're going to be A-okay against a smaller team.
And Christian Coloco, we got to talk to him after the game. The first Arizona player since Lauren Woods, 1999 to the 2000 season, to have 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks multiple times in a season.
Yeah.
It's that 4 times. We're at 3 now for Christian Coloco. So he's come on. He talked about just being confident as a team and, the backcourt shooting struggles. The frontcourt guys, even though we want to see Arizona maybe feed those guys a little bit more, they said they really like when those backcourt guys take over and shoot and aren't afraid to miss a shot because they know they're going to come right back down and make it. They have the mentality of next basket goes in. And I think you see that a lot of times throughout the season.
Well, I think Christian Coloco is just saying that because he knows that there's opportunities for offensive rebounds and second chance points. Exactly. If those guys aren't falling, there's more opportunities for them to grab rebounds and then, get a putback dunk or a layup. But, these guys, like Christian Coloco, he knows that in the month of March, I complimented the front court play and how you need those guys to be there when the other teams are smaller. But in March, your guards need to be firing on all cylinders. So I think Christian Coloco, Umar Ballo, even Tommy-Lloyd, just constantly telling these guards, like, hey, you guys are the engines. A guy like Kerr Kriisa, I hate to say this, and I mean this with all due respect. I think if you look at the starting lineup, Kerr Kriisa might actually be a weak link of this team. They need him to be at his best. If the weak link is playing at his best, then sky's the limit for this Arizona team.